Alright, my captains, so today we are going to discuss something very interesting, which is the connection between part 1 and part 2, because unlike what some people think, where they think that part 1 and part 2 aren't going to be connected, no, part 1 and part 2 are going to be connected, and this is what we are going to discuss today. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't already to stay notified with everything new about Honkai Impact 3rd, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and share the video with your friends. And without any further ado, let's just get started. So as you can see here, we have basically a question that the players asked the developers, and the question is, could you provide a brief glimpse of what players can anticipate in part 2? Now the answer is this one, and it's a very long answer, and I really like the fact that they actually do take their time to give us a very long and detailed answer to all of our questions. Some other companies would have said like some 2 sentences and then finish that and don't actually give us any information, any useful information, but here there are some interesting information. So the answer goes as follows: our primary focus lies in the long-term continuous refinement of Honkai Impact 3rd, and the reason why I am actually focusing on long term is because of the fact that it seems that 7 years aren't actually enough for them. It seems that they want another 7 years at least for Honkai Impact 3rd, so that is a very positive actually thought, and I really like this a lot. Additionally, players can anticipate new narratives and characters, and we already saw some of these characters. The main story of part 2 begins on Mars, so we are crafting an imaginary history for Mars akin to the style found in science fiction classics like Foundation and Dawn, but with the distinctive Honkai Impact 3rd touch. So they are going to make it similar to what science fiction is, but with a touch of Honkai Impact 3rd. So hopefully the story is going to be as good as part 1, where you emerge into the story and you enjoy every single aspect of it, because they have been doing it even for part 1.5, even though they stated that part 1.5 is just a bridge between part 1 and part 2. They still put a lot of effort in that story, so I really like the amount of job that they are putting into the story, and I can't wait to see actually the story of part 2. In terms of characters, an entirely new protagonist team will be introduced. So basically we already know that the team is going to be new and there won't be any of the old characters between them. From a technical standpoint, we are also optimizing the design of playable characters in part 2. So it seems that they are trying their best to make the gameplay maybe and the design as smooth and as clean as possible, which is really awesome. I would have actually hoped that they do that for the old characters as well, but I can understand if they aren't going to do it. These characters, the story and everything about them is already done basically, so putting a lot of effort into optimizing them isn't going to be as useful as optimizing part 2 characters. So I can understand if they aren't going to do it, but I would really appreciate it if they can actually do it. Anyways, furthermore, we have developed the character Vita in part 1.5, and this is where it gets interesting. They developed Vita, and we all thought that Vita is going to be just the catalyst for Seele to basically transform into a Harsher. However, it seems that they had in mind something even bigger and far beyond that for Vita, and she will play a pivotal role in connecting the story between part 1 and part 2. So as you can see, the plan for Vita wasn't just to be the catalyst for Seele to transform into Harsher of Rebirth Seele, but instead they actually had a plan for Vita to also connect part 1 and part 2. We still don't know how she is going to connect them, because they are saying keep an eye out to discover her role in the upcoming chapters of the story. So we still don't know how she is going to connect them, but we know that she is going to connect them, and that debunks any theory about the fact that part 1 and part 2 are going to be disconnected. No, they are going to be connected, and we already know that there are some of the characters in part 2 who are actually directly related to characters from part 1. Like, for example, the little girl, I don't remember her name, but she is actually the adopted daughter of Einstein, and the other one with her is actually idolizing Durandal. So you can see that these two are completely and directly related to part 1 characters, and they are also from Earth. So there is a very high chance that there might be actually some interactions with characters from Earth, and if that happens, who are we going to interact with? Well, most likely we are going to interact with characters like Teresa, Kiana, Durandal, May, Bronya, and other characters like that, because these are most likely now the teachers and the captains of different divisions and stuff like that. So if we are going to connect with people, we are going to most likely connect with these people. So I really can't wait to see what they are going to do with part 2. Obviously, at the beginning, maybe in the first 7 or 8 basically versions, we aren't going to get that much of a connection to part 1, because they are going to focus on building the plot and building the story of the new characters and building the plot of the new part. And then after that, after we are familiar with the characters, we are familiar with the plot of part 2, then they are going to most likely focus on other stuff and maybe broaden the plot even more and have some connections to Earth, maybe have some connections to the Sea of Quanta, the Sea of Idea, and all of that stuff. So we will see what they are going to do, but I really can't wait to see how they are going to handle the story of part 2. Anyways, with that being said, that was everything for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so that they can enjoy it too. And if you got any useful information from this video, or if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe my channel and turn on the notification bell beside it so that you stay notified with everything new about Honkai Impact 3rd. And with that being said, see you as always in the next video of Honkai Impact.